Welcome. How you guys doing? Welcome to Free Show Friday. I'm Gary B. Jr., your media consultant, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I've been enjoying the chat so much, I almost forgot to switch over. We got some good stuff going on. We got Al Fronto from Accra, Ghana. Welcome, my friend. He made the big decision to switch from easy worship to free show because of some of the videos that he's seen on YouTube. So I'm excited about that, Al. I'm curious, when is the big switch going to happen? Let me know. I want to know when, or if it already has happened. That would be pretty crazy too. Let me know. We got Brian on from Michigan. Let's see here. Welcome, Brian. And then Tayel. Hello. What's going on, Tayel? And then Al says he's going to plan to switch by the end of the month. Man, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. I think that as you do that, make sure to ask as many questions as you can, even in the videos that you see that you might be thinking about implementing some of those things. Let me know. I do my best to try to reply to those pretty quick. And in these chats, Free Show Fridays are always about helping equip you right now. So we always have time for addressing those quick questions and things like that. So yeah, it's showtime. That's what the goal is today. The goal today is all about showtime. Let's see here. We got Sabusi So from South Africa. What's going on? And then we got Boss Bargas from the Philippines. What's going on? We got the boss in the house. All right. So Al says, I've given my team link to your playlist to watch. Oh, okay. The link to the playlist. That's a big list. That's a big list. Go to the website and I'm trying to think about if there's anything that would be helpful for you. Have you done the free show planning list or the planning form? It's not anything that costs. It's completely free, but it's something that gives you kind of a good layout of what you're going to do when you jump in the free show. And it just asks you a few questions. If you've seen me do any of the those full church installs, it's really just me walking through some people that have filled out the form, right? So they said the type of font they want, the colors they like, if they're going to use a stage display or not, what kind of timers they need, and all those kind of things. If you can get those things completed, right? If you look at any of those, I think I can't remember the last church that we did that with, but I broke it out into a 5-part series where we broke out and did their styles, their templates, their outputs, and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at those, that would be the ideal starting point to me for anybody that's using Free Show to check out. So definitely check that out. And it's at my website, so GaryBJr.com. Let me see. Let me put that in here. So yeah, definitely check it out when you get time. Let's see here. Try to figure out how to use the basic things like lower thirds, 4 screen outputs, and a stage screen. Okay. Yeah. So the lower thirds piece. Let's see here. You're in Ghana. Do you guys speak only English in your congregation or fellowship, or is it multilingual? That would be one question. Because if so, there's some really cool lower thirds that include 2 Bible versions that are already built in by default. I've got some on my website, but I think I like the default ones better now. But when I came out with mine, it was probably 8 months ago, and they weren't available on the program built in, right? Uh, so let's see here. Yeah, so I just put my website into the chat. Just go to my products page, and I'll show you guys a little bit of that. I'll go to that for you. Let's see here. Let me pull up my site now. That is exciting. That is exciting. Who else has switched over? I know that many of you guys have already done it, but who else has switched over and doing it? So it's all English. That's good. And so it won't matter if you're using the multilingual or not. But this is my site. So this is where you'll end up if you get to GaryBJr.com. All right. And so what you would do is you would look at the top here and select the option that says products. And if you're on a phone, I think it'll pop up a little menu. You can find the products page there. All right. And so over here is this option that says beginning with FreeShow. This is like a category. This is what I would recommend anybody starting with FreeShow go to first. And the very first thing on that list right now is the FreeShow planning form. And you can select that and you'll be able to get that. And then this is a media leaders getting started guide. It sounds like you might be the media leader or the worship leader or something like that. You might like something like this. It involves a lot of the videos that you've already sent to your team, but it just kind of organizes them in a way that makes sense for the flow of launching FreeShow. And then definitely the Bibles. That's been something that's major. When I first started using FreeShow, one of the things that I noticed that I love the program so much, but I didn't. One of the things that I feel like it lacked the most was access to local Bibles. And I'd had these Bibles downloaded for some time, and I was using them in OpenLP, and I wanted to make sure everybody else had access to them as quickly, as easy, and as easily as I did. So make sure to get those if you have not already. Down here, let's see here, the quick tips guide. That one is good. Like I said, this is um, like a PDF download, when you first think about getting FreeShow, a lot of times what people do is they'll try to compare it to what they currently have. So this is kind of like giving you a breakdown of some of the things that it has that you may not have at your current program, or just to be able to check off and make sure that it does have, right? So that's just a PDF download. We got some organic media template downloads here. And then this is the no nonsense beginner's guide to FreeShow that I keep it updated regularly, and it comes with all those things. So if you get the no nonsense beginner's guide, it's $25. But if you get that, it'll come with pretty much everything you'll need. It includes the planning form that you can get separate for free. So don't think that these are all paid add-ons. These are all the free add-ons, but it just puts it all together in one thing, along with a concise way to get started with your first show and your first service. All right. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull up my doc so I can make sure I can see you guys. All right, let's see here. All right, so full screen. I'll say so full screen scriptures in-house and lower thirds online. And also want to do the 2 screen split like you just like I have it here. Okay. Yeah, so the full screen split is pretty easy to do. This is being done in OBS. So tell me, what are you using for your live stream? Let me know what you're using for your live stream, Al, in terms of the program, right? So how are you getting your in-house video signal online to Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you plan to send it? Right now, like I said, for me, I use I mean, not YouTube. Only stream to YouTube right now, but I use OBS to do that. It's completely free. There's another program called YOLOcast, but even if you get YOLOcast, the biggest benefit is it lets you stream to multiple platforms at once. I still would use OBS with YOLOcast and FreeShow. Okay, it's a really nice component add-on. At the end of every month, I do a giveaway for the exclusive package, the exclusive YOLOcast package, for the next 6 months at least. So we'll if you're interested in that, okay. So you got vMix. So vMix is kind of like OBS, right? Is vMix free or does it cost? I don't have a Windows computer because it doesn't work on Windows, I think. So it doesn't. It's not something I'm familiar with. But is it something that you pay monthly for, or is it a program you just download and it's completely one-time payment or something like that? I'm curious. All right. Let's do a recap of the week. Just a couple of videos came out just in the last couple of days. So last week I came out with the deep dive into the live streaming with YOLO Live, which is YOLO Cast. That's the company that makes it plus OBS. So if you do decide to get the YOLO Cast not even exclusive, you can get any plan you want to. And you go to that video, you'll be able to get a 20% discount code and all that kind of stuff if you want to. So I came out with that one that walks you through live streaming with connection to OBS through YOLOcast or to YOLOcast. And then we also did the deep dive into templates, which was really, really major. I think that was something that was hopefully refreshing for you guys to kind of just refresh some of the things that you may have been doing, but also add to it some things that you may not have known that you could do in FreeShow. And so that's my goal when I come out with the deep dives. It's really more like me just kind of unloading everything that I think is going to be helpful for you. And then you just take a bit at a time, right? It's something you can always come back to. They're usually about an hour long, as you can see. So it's not something I expect you to sit down and watch the whole thing, but it would be nice if you did. But at the same time, you need to take what you can get so you can apply it for your upcoming service or future services. That's the goal. Is not just to sit there and watch it and give me a thumbs up, or I don't even know what do they do in is it thumbs up? What is it? A like or something like that? Whatever it is in YouTube, whatever they give you. I'm not doing the videos for that. I'm really doing it to help you be equipped to do what you need to do. So give me feedback. Give me some comments. If there's something in there that you have a question about, those are the things that really help me identify where there are needs when it comes to making my videos, right? So this week I came out with a video about video codecs because a lot of times we overlook the idea of video codecs. And I say that because it's not a common terminology that is outside of the media circle, right? So you all may be like the nerdiest people in your circle. I know for me, I'm often found in that place to where everybody calls me if they have a question about their phone or their computer or whatever it is, right? And so a codec is literally just the way a video is coded and decoded, right? And what that means is the format in which it is processed and the way that it needs to be processed when it's being read, right? So the way it was recorded and processed and the way it needs to be read when it's processed have to do with these codecs because it happens on both sides, okay? It can be recorded in one codec and then exported or edited and exported into another codec. And so what I did is I tested out the same thing I did. It's been a few months now. I made another video about this, about the best video types. And at that time, there was some video types that just didn't work well with FreeShow. And I'm happy to report, and like I said, this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, all H.265, H.265, H.264, and then MP4 and MOV files, any combination of the two worked just fine for me. And that's a spoiler alert because in the last video that I did about video codecs, that was not the case. There were certain file types, and I can't even remember what they were now, but there were certain ones that just didn't work well in the program. But since the updates have happened since then, it's been working flawlessly. And you can see I tested it out in the video just to kind of prove it. And I tested out ProRes, right? I know that some of you all may use ProRes video codecs, and ProRes does not work in FreeShow. What I did notice though is the audio does come through. I didn't put that in the video, but the audio for ProRes comes through just fine, along with AVI. AVI, I don't think it played at all. The audio may have played, but those formats are not as popular, right? So if you stick with MP4, you stick with MOV, which is QuickTime, you should be fine. And those are the most popular platforms out there, or codecs out there, or file types that people use for video. So you shouldn't run into many issues. I'm trying to think about the biggest benefit. I would say if you are making videos, I always recommend people make them in H.265. It's a newer codec. It's more efficient in terms of it compresses the file to be smaller, sometimes like 4 times smaller, right? That's something that's a big deal to me when it comes to making a lot of videos. I need to save as much space as I can. So all the stuff I record, I usually do in H.265. But H.264 is very reliable, solid. It's just a bigger file. And it's a little bit easier probably for your computer to process and work with than H.265 because H.265 compresses it so much, all right? And then the last video that came out was a 20-minute introduction to FreeShow. I know many people are like, why did you do an introduction to FreeShow and you got 150 videos? I'll be honest, this is the first time I actually felt compelled to do it, right? I know there's a lot of videos out there that are like a quick guide, a jump start guide, or whatever it is to free show. And for me, I wanted to make sure that I'm comfortable enough to address as much as I can with confidence and with some understanding, as opposed to doing that when I first learned about the program. And I know there's some YouTubers, that's what they do. That's great. I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a media consultant. So I'm thinking about the solution the whole time. And so for me, this video is not just about introducing you to the program. Even if you've been using it for some time, you'll probably find some nuggets in there, some gems that you can implement that you may have not done. You may have overlooked some of these things because there's so much uh, involved with this program that is one of the strong suits of it. It is so powerful to do so much. I compared it to a car. If you're wondering why that orange car is there, that is not my car. That car is a representation of what I think about free show, because the analogy I use to introduce it is almost like going to go buy a car. Okay, so I kind of compared it to some car features and things like that. Something that hopefully we can all relate to some degree. Let's see here. Taylor says vMix has different versions based on the price. Okay, interesting. So Al said he paid for it a one-time uh, or subscription base. He says, okay. And then Taylor was talking about vMix has different version based on the price. I got you. I didn't know that. Okay. And then Big L says can't seem to get NDI to show up on a host computer via OBS. I have the latest updated 6.2. However, I don't know if it's an NDI plugin source issue. Has it ever worked on this computer? Big L, let me know. Has it ever worked? And welcome, welcome, welcome. Al is saying you're the only plug when it comes to free show. No, there's some other guys out there that I've seen that I love watching them. One of them is it's a brother from, I believe he's from Indonesia. He speaks in 2 languages in the video. So I'm like, what? This is crazy. So he just came out with a video about game shows. It was pretty cool. I like to watch anything that's related to free show because I love to learn, not just about free show, but about a lot of things. But when it comes to free show, I'm always open to seeing somebody's video and their take on it. Let's see here. Even the main developers channel don't come close. You know what? The main developer, the free show team themselves, they reached out to me probably not even a month into me making videos, because I just started making videos because I couldn't find anything either. So I'm with you on that. And they really embraced me as family. So I'm excited about that. They really just embraced me and was like, hey, Gary, hey, we love your videos. I think they even share my my playlist on their channel. So you'll probably find free show tutorials on their channel that's coming directly from my channel. And they just want to support the community as much as they can. And they're supportive of this channel. So I'm grateful for that, in terms of they really want to see free show grow, and they know that as much information that they can get out there, the better. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so Big L says it has not worked yet. Let's see here. For your NDI issue, Big L, double check and make sure that you are on, because you're trying to send it from OBS. Are you getting it into OBS? Would be my first question. It sounds like you said you're trying to get it. So you said can't seem to get NDI to show up on the host computer. Okay, you can't get it into OBS. So this is the kicker. Let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up my OBS for you real quick to show you something that stands out to me. And I don't know if this is a big issue. Like it's not a really big issue to me. I'm just used to it now. So I'm just here to relate to that. Al says, bro, I've searched, but so far yours stands out. And then Creative says, you are the best. You guys are awesome. I appreciate that. Creative Pulse Media. I'm sorry, Creative Pulse Media. Welcome. So Creative Pulse, I don't know if you've already put in there, but let me know where you're from. I love to hear where you guys are from on the channel, so we can have these conversations. And I can, I'm like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I may have shared this early on, but one of the things that I believe is important for me is to understand if I'm being effective. And one of the things that I believe is important is, when I first started on this journey, was to connect and empower as many nations as I could with understanding of media and technology for sharing the gospel. And so Free Show was a perfect match for me. When that's literally when I found out about Free Show, shortly after or shortly before, I felt that invitation from the Lord. And so that is something that I'm excited about. I love to see and hear from different where people are. Like I said, I love people that we got people from Michigan and Florida and South Africa and Ghana today. So that's awesome. Creative Pulse Media, South Africa. Welcome, welcome, welcome from Georgia. I'm here in America in Georgia. I've been to Kenya. I have not been to South Africa yet. I got a friend of mine. I think she goes there pretty often. She goes there pretty often in terms of regularly over the years. So that's pretty cool. All right. So going back, big L for your setup. So this is my setup right here for this scene. This is my Free Show Fridays split screen share screen. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources. And you can see here, this is the yellow background. You'll see the little red box pop up around that. I've got this white background. This is just one big white background. It's called a color thing. Let me see what it's called. It's called a color source. Okay. And that you can pick any color you want. And then I've got my top screen, and that's literally just me sharing my monitor that I've got in front of me that's taller than my laptop. So I got my laptop down here and I got my monitor up there. Okay. And then I've got my camera. It actually is my GH5. I actually just, any camera I plug into OBS, I just label it GH5 and I just keep switching it out. But this one actually is my GH5 that I use on my desk regularly. And then I've got Free Show live stream. All right. Now it's disabled. So if I turn this on, it'll be there. Now, what I've got to do often is I got to right click on this and go to properties. And when I go to properties, I'll have to hit this drop down and I'll find that sometimes my host name has changed for my local host name has changed for NDI, and I have to go in and refresh it every time I restart Free Show. And so it'll show up properly once I do that. All right. And so let me see here. If I do, this is Q&A time, so it should show up, and I don't see it showing. Oh, I see it down here. I actually, I forgot I moved this. Let me pull this back. And so here's a quick tip. I can right click on this and I'm gonna say transform and fit to screen. And that'll pull it up to where to go the full size of the screen. All right. I actually was doing another video and I shrunk this down for trying to test out something. So that was a whole nother issue. All right. But try doing something like that, Big L. Double check the properties, right? Just right click on your Free Show feed properties and then double check and make sure what'll end up happening is you'll see a different name or number here than you do down here from time to time. And if that's the case, it's just update it with the latest one and it should connect, is what I've had to do. I do that all the time. And I can't remember when I had to start doing it. I didn't know if it was something that happened with my Apple computer update or if it was something that was a Free Show thing or if it was an OBS thing. I still haven't figured it out. And I know Christopher, the developer, I told him about it and he made a fix, and I think it helped some people, and I think it even helped me for a short period of time. And then after a while, I just started doing it again. So it might just be a internal network issue for me. I just haven't figured it out yet. It's not important because it doesn't stop me from doing anything as long as I know it. So I'm sharing that with you guys to know it if it's happening with you as well. All right. In terms of updates on the Free Show side of things, there is a 1.5.0 beta 1 that's out. I have not tested it out yet. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna probably plan to test it out next week. But there's some smarter conditions that are included with it. He updated the pop-up user interface. And then this one here, the song number sort drawer tab. That's something I'm curious about. I have to check that out. I've not heard of anything like that before. So I want to see what that's about. Let's see here. Alan, do you have some playlist on OBS usage with Free Show? Would be great to have. I've got a few videos on OBS. I don't have a playlist, I don't think. I made a playlist on Companion that has a couple of videos, and then I don't have any on OBS. That's a good idea though. Look, I got my notepad here. Let me make a note. I'll make an OBS playlist. I'm working on this deep dive series with you guys or for you guys. And so the next video that's going to be coming out is going to be a deep dive into shows, which we'll be talking about shows today. Ironically, I actually recorded the video like I've been working on that probably for the last week and a half, right? And so I think I finalized it last night or 2 days ago. And so I'll probably upload it this weekend. So either today or tomorrow, we'll see. But I want to do a deep dive into OBS for Free Show users, right? So I'm not going to claim to be a OBS expert. I'm literally going to talk about it from intermingling it and intertwining it with FreeShow, which is the basis of this channel. So it works out perfect in that sense. I do feel quite comfortable doing it that way. I've been using OBS for probably 6 or 7 years now, maybe. So definitely before COVID, because I knew about it before COVID. And when COVID hit, I was implementing it in a number of different churches. So I would have to say, I'm trying to think. I don't remember the first time I started using OBS. That's the funny thing. I remember when I first tried to use it and it gave me a headache and I just left it alone, because it was just like so unintuitive for me. And then, for whatever reason, I think I was in a bind or in a crunch or something like that. I was trying to work on a live feed. That's what it was. I did a live show, a concert. It was like, and it was during COVID too. So it had to be before that I knew about it, but I dove into it and really put some energy into it and figured out how to use it and get comfortable with it. So I'll work on getting a playlist for that. Let's see here. The free show feed isn't showing up. However, it shows that it's showing up in free show. Yes. So free show is going to always send out the signal. So go and check if you're at your computer right now, Big L, go into your free show source, like I showed you, and right click on it, go to properties and see what the label is saying, which you're seeing there in terms of, is the local host number changed? I'm just curious now. Brian says there are alternatives to NDI. One is called Beam, and I believe there are others. Beam as an alternative. I've never heard of that. As an NDI alternative. Every week you guys share something new with me that I never heard of before, so I'm excited about that. I have to check that out. I've never heard of it. So how? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. All right, that's a very good point. All right, so the beta's out. Still use the main one if you have not tested out the beta. As I always, that's kind of my caveat whenever there's a beta out. I've just set my free show. I don't know if you guys have ever done it before, but I set my free show settings to where it alerts me when a new update is available, and it alerts me when a new beta version is available. So in my settings over in the other section, okay, of settings, you can turn that on and it won't automatically update. So I don't have it to auto update. That's off because I don't want to get the new version without testing it out first. So I'll get it on purpose and then test it out, as opposed to just automatically updating without my permission. Okay. That's something that you do not want to happen, especially if you're leading a service, or hosting an event or something like that. Do not turn on auto updates. And that's pretty much with any program, to be honest with you. If it's something that's detrimental for the flow of a service, the flow of work, don't auto update. That would be my acknowledgement or encouragement to you guys. Let's see. Teo says, I had a church that updated OBS, but still have old NDI plugin. NDI plugin had to be updated before the church was able to see the NDI plugin. Absolutely. That's a big deal. I did the same thing. I actually didn't know that. And so what Tayel was talking about is, if you go to, I'm going to pull up my OBS one more time for you all. Under tools, you got that's not it, the distro AV NDI settings. If you haven't got that updated, you will run into some issues. Okay. And there's something else with it though. And so let me see. Let's see. Let's see, distro AV. And so I think it's NDI 6 or something like that I had to do. And it gives you the instructions on GitHub. So I'm trying to see if I can find it. So here we go. Yeah, runtime 6. So I had to remove the old plugin, do NDI runtime, get NDI runtime 6, and then I was good to go. So make sure that if you have not, Big L, that you do that. I'm trying to see where that information of those sources are. Let's see here. Is runtime 6 one of the assets here? I don't see it. So I got Windows, I got Mac, and it has those. But yeah, so that was a big deal. And I don't know if it's still the same now, but that was a major deal, to make sure you got everything updated properly. And I ran into the same thing personally, Taya. about with that. So very good point. All right. Um, so let's talk briefly. I know you all have heard me talk about this a lot already. Let me make sure I didn't have any other updates to talk about. Um, no, no, no. We're good. We're good. Okay. So when it comes to, let me pull my OBS back down real quick. Hold on. I like to have that down here on my other screen so I can see what's going on along with YouTube. All right. So for free show. One of the things that I have learned and learned to like more and more, and is the funny thing is I don't do a lot of in-person services or meetings with free show as much as I do a lot of online services and meetings. But when I'm training and going through making courses and things, this is something that I still think is so invaluable. If you go up to the top and hit view, and this is our first point. This is the beginner level discussion here. So we're going to go from beginner to advanced, right? So this is our beginner level discussion. If you're new to free show, please make notes about this. But if you go up to view and you select this option that says toggle focus mode, this is such a cool feature because what it does is it eliminates any room for you to edit, right? So you can't go up here and edit anything. Everything has to be done. You have to have everything set up the way you want to. And then it moves the drawer to where it just shows the icon. So it limits any distractions, right? And then over here, it gets rid of all the distractions over here as well. Everything is simplified and ready to go. And the cool part about it is if you notice right now, I have this particular show showing up, and on the left side you'll see a little blue bar right on the corner, and then you'll see it kind of highlighted in a dark gray. Okay, as I scroll down and I get to the next one, you'll notice that it just shifted over here. So as you're scrolling through this thing, it's dynamically moving through your show or your project for you. Even though I haven't selected any of these, it still says welcome to Free Show Friday on my show right now. But as I scroll through, it shows you exactly where you are. So we're in the hallelujah chant. I might not be at the very beginning of it. If I scroll up though, I can see it here. It says hallelujah chant. And now I can go through and it'll automatically update for me. So it gives you a very cool moniker of wherever you are in your show or your project, I should say, because it's a series of multiple shows connected. These are all a bunch of different shows. And that is just I never noticed that it automatically updates as I scroll through. And I don't know how many of you guys have noticed that. Let me know if you ever noticed that or even used the focus mode when your service starts, right? This is where it comes in handy, where it's helpful for when your service starts. It allows you to scroll through and go through each show. And all you do is tap it and arrow to the right, and you're good to go. You can go through the entire show and everything's ready as long as everything's ready. If you do need to make a quick change or change a function or something like that, you can do that. You'll have all the options like normal to be able to do that. I can go into my variables. Let's see here. I got Free Show Friday topics here. You'll see all the different topics for the day. I can update that if I need to on the fly still. Okay. But I don't have all the options for the shows that I normally would have, right? So I don't have um, like the option to change my view or go to grid view versus edit view or whatever other views that are there and all that kind of stuff. It's just a it's a dedicated view to just let you focus and go through your show. All right. Let's see here. Big L says that's what might be the issue. Thanks, TL. I will look into that when I have the chance. Yes. So that might be exactly what the issue is. All right. So focus mode is major. All you do is go up to view and hit toggle focus mode. And so I can hit it again and it'll come back and it brings me back to the main screen here. All right. And I'm still in the same project. It doesn't take me out of the project or anything like that. Let me know if you guys have any questions about that. The next one I want to show you guys is song layouts. I've talked about this in the past, but this is some stuff, like I said, this is more like this is like the word is not recursive, I don't think, but this is going to all training in this case is going to always repeat just because so many things are updated in free show and because so many people are new to this particular channel, this program, Free Show Friday as a whole. And so I want to never forget to overlook some of these basic things, but this is more of an intermediate feature to me because every church may not, or every ministry may not need this. But the cool thing is if you go to a actual show, so if I go to 1 Corinthians 12, if you look at it, there's nothing here that lets me change the layout because this is a scripture. It is tagged as a scripture, okay? On the left side there, you see there, I actually found it by going to the scriptures and then I right-clicked and then I converted it to a show, all right? So that's how I got this in here. That's how all these got in there, all right? So you won't see the option that I'm talking about in there, but you can go down here and select open, and it'll take you right to that verse that is highlighted here. So 4 through 7, it shows up right there. All right, just because I hit open. So if I go to Genesis, I can select open here, and it'll change my layout, and it takes me to my collection of Bibles with 2 Bibles in it, and it automatically jumps me back into that verse, from verse 1 through 5 in Genesis. All right, same way if I go to Romans 12, I can open that up in New Living. It automatically goes to the single collection or single Bible, and it's there. All right. Now that's one thing, but that's not the layout part that I'm talking about. If we go to an actual song, all right. The cool thing about this, oh, let me see something here. Even on this, I got this. This is my offering. I got it. It's in my song category. I can see the little music logo over here on the left. I can actually make a new layout for that just because it's in that category. But I'm gonna go to, I think I made some already. Okay. I speak Jesus. All right. So this particular song has 3 different layouts that I've created. A default layout. So if I go to the default layout, it starts in verse 1. If I go to the short layout, it starts in chorus 1. And then I made a shorter one, and it starts in verse 3. Now, like I've told you all many times before, I am not a musically inclined individual. The only keys that I play are on a keyboard on a computer. All right. But for worship leaders, those who are well inclined to understand how groups work in music and things like that, you'll find that they are usually going to find some way, depending on the ministry or the type of fellowship you're a part of. The ones that I've been a part of in smaller churches, especially where it's not a big band or anything like that, we're there. That we're prone to deviate from the typical way to sing the song. All right. And I say that lovingly because it was always exciting and enjoyable. But what that means is, as a media volunteer, that you can get lost quick. I know for me, listen, when I was when I was back in Kansas City and helping leading ministries and being a media leader, I had to be very sensitive to the fact that our volunteers need to make sure we have the songs exactly how the worship team was going to sing it. And so back then I was using OpenLP, and I had the worship leader literally he made the playlist for all the worship songs. He made the playlist the way that he needed it to be, with the words the way they needed to be, and all we needed to do was go from left to right, okay, to go through the songs. He was great about it, and it empowered him because he needed to make sure that we weren't going to lose track of it and give the audience something to be distracted by. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want the congregation to be distracted because we're trying to find where he just went in this song, and they practiced it in a special way, right? So they practiced leaving out parts of the song. With this format or with this option, you can do that. So I'm gonna go to another song here. So this song is I Trust in God. It's got a verse 1, a bridge, a chorus, and I think the rest of this is all, and then a chorus 2. All right. So all these things that I'm highlighting are important because the way the song is broken up is very important to the way that you can make your layouts, because you can literally adjust the groups. All right. You can't adjust individual slides, but you can adjust certain groups of the song. And so you might have just the bridge of the song in there. So if I say new layout down here on the left, and this is in version 1.4.9. All right. So I'm just going to call it new. All right. It's the new song. All right. I'm going to remove this verse 1. I'm just going to right click on it, and then it gives you some options. All right. It says remove group from layout is the last one. And that's what I want to do. I want to remove the group. So it literally takes out, this one only has 1 slide in it, but if it had multiple slides, it would take out all of them. Right. So now that group is removed, and we're just starting with the bridge. I can do the same thing with chorus number 2. I can right click on that, remove that from the group, and it took out the entire chorus that I just selected. And now we just got this song, this part of the song. Now it shows you over here what you have. You got your bridge, you got your chorus 1, and I've got verse. I've got a verse there. It shows up here. Yeah, so that's just the color of the verse. I'm looking to see why it's not highlighted, but that's the color that it is. It's gray. And then chorus 2, I don't see chorus 2 here, but it's the chorus, so it's there. And you can see that here. All right, and it's just a blank slide, actually, believe it or not. But that's the new layout now. So you can call it short or something like that. But if I go back to default, every part of the song is here. All right. Go there, and it's here. Now, this may change based on who's leading the song that week, right? You can make these be the name of the person. So I can right click on this and I can rename it, and I'm going to call this Jill's version, right? And this is the way that Jill likes to sing it. Okay, that's how we're gonna have her version there. You need another one. You hit that again, and you're gonna call this one. We're gonna do rhyming names. This is Bill's version. All right, and now he's got his own version, and it's there. And for him, maybe we need to add in another verse, so we can add a verse back in and move it around as we need to, and that might be the way that he prefers it to be. Okay, and you can make those adjustments to the layout. Let's see. Al said, "This is a fact." Do you have a video that goes more in depth on groups? Um, I can't remember if I do or not. Unfortunately, that's a great question, Tayel. I can't remember. I know I don't have a video this. No, no, yes, I do. I do. It's called multiple versions of the same song. Let me see what it's called. Let's see here. I'm gonna look up multiple. I think I call it multiple. Multiple Bibles. Virtual. Here we go. Multiple versions from one song. So this would be the link. Let me see if I can copy that in there. I'll share it with you guys now. Um, all right. So that is in depth on it. Now, since then, I'm not sure what version of Free Show I made that video in. To be honest with you, this was from 3 months ago, so definitely was an older version. But it does go into the ways you can set up and make your high contrast look and all that stuff. Like you can see here, we got these big bright colors. You can adjust the colors. You can adjust it. It shows that way and all that stuff. And that's in that video. Really cool stuff. And actually, somebody from Free Show Friday told me about it. That's the only reason I found out about it because as I tell you, I'm not musically inclined. I really mean that. Let's see here. Can a group only be used for songs? No, you can use a group for anything. You can make a group in anything. So if I go here, now I don't know, look, I don't here. So if I right click on this, the groups are based on the actual verse, right? So that's what that is. It's there from there. Now, if you want to make a group when you're making a new show, let me see, I'm gonna say new show, and we'll call this test groups. I'm gonna put this into my songs for now. And I'm gonna do quick lyrics. All right. All you have to do is to make a group, all you do is put it in brackets, right? I'm gonna put some words here and I'm gonna put in brackets and I'm gonna call this verse. You don't have to put the number in there. You don't have to put verse 1, 2, or 3 because it'll automatically update for you. And then I'm gonna say more and more words. And I can put in brackets. I can put chorus. I keep wanting to hit shift when I do my brackets. This is a cool chorus. All right. What's another? We can do something bridge. You can make up anything you want to for these, but these are all built in the Free Show already, and they're kind of default tags that you can have. But you have to put them in there when you download or get a song from the web search. It'll automatically have these in there sometimes, and if it doesn't, Free Show will do its best to calculate and create the proper grouping for your shows. All right. And the way you do that to make sure of it, go up to your options here and make sure to auto assign groups. Okay. And that's something that Free Show will do for you and it'll do its best. It's not 100% perfect, but if it's turned on, it'll give you a better chance of getting your groups right as well. Even if you don't do the verse numbers, this verse chorus bracket thing, and then format text. That's something that I like to have on. And what that does is it allows you to have, like, I don't have any capital words here or anything like that. No capital letters, no periods or anything like that. So let's see what ends up happening. And then max lines, I kept that blank. So let's do, so in here, when you're putting in a song, if you hit enter, it makes it be a new slide. So I hit enter now on a blank line. It's going to be a new slide. So I'm going to say create test groups. It automatically goes here. And notice that my words became capital. I got a capital S, a capital M, a capital T. I didn't make those capital in there. And then you'll see this one doesn't have a verse with it. It just says tag. It doesn't have it just says a tag here, and then verse, chorus, and bridge. Now, tag might be a thing. I don't know what a tag is, honestly. The bridge is completely pink. I've never seen that before, but I'm guessing it just took that color because it's completely blank. So if I go to edit it, yeah, it's just completely blank. So if I add some text in there, because I didn't put any text in there, it goes away. So you can, let's see here. This is the bridge. All right. And so now this one has that lowercase because I made it lowercase. It stayed that way because I was just editing it in. But these, since I had on that format text, they made it capital for the first word or the first letter in each sentence, which is pretty cool. All right. And so I made this a song, but I could have easily made this be a presentation or any other category that I've got, and it would have been just fine. So it does not have to be just for groups. You just have to put the brackets in there to make it be however you want it to be labeled. Okay. So if you're doing a long presentation, for example, you might have groups where you've got them labeled as the opening or the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? Or however you want to break out your presentation. Maybe it's broken out in certain sections, and you say, you know what, I want this to be the sales pitch section. So you call that the sales pitch. And then the next part is going to be the ask. And then another part of it might be the setup, and you can put those in groups, and you can remove those out of your presentation in that way, or make a new layout for a literal presentation, right? It's not a song. It could be a general presentation, and you can adjust it based on those groups, which is a really cool idea. It's kind of like hiding a slide in PowerPoint, but better, right? Because it's not really hidden. It's just a whole nother version of the presentation. So you can customize it as needed. All right. Let's see here. I have a suggestion I have not heard on this show. This is Brian talking. He says, create a loose leaf notebook that could stay on your physical desktop with helpful tips or instructions, not just for FreeShow, but also sound and lights. That's an excellent idea. One of the things, Brian, that I recommended when I was doing a lot of consulting locally is I would always create like a PDF tip sheet, and I would put it into some type of cellophane, like a, what's it called? Like a photo cover. I don't know what you call it, but it was just a clear thing that, like you said, that can fit inside of a, what you call it, inside of a loose leaf notebook, like a 3-prong binder, right? I would have a thing like that. I did photography a lot, and so I used to have those, and I would give them to clients, their photos inside of that little clear thing. I would always do that with any media team because there were always some tips and some things that you need to know in order for things to go smoothly. And I'm talking about, like you said, from which switch to turn on everything, right? So how do you turn on the soundboard? And sometimes it's under the desk on the right, and then to turn the computers on, it's under the desk on the bottom left corner of the booth, right? And so those kind of things are important because you want to be as user friendly for new volunteers as it is for those who've been there for some time and are seasoned, and they just know those things. And so I would always have a time or a season where I would just kind of shadow the person that's responsible for that portion of the ministry, and just make sure that there's nothing that is left out that we don't have documented for the process. And this is where FreeShow becomes so important in terms of the videos I make. At least my goal is to equip you all where you can customize your workflow based on the new information that you have, or based on this repetitive, it may not be new to you, but it's something you need to make sure to let everybody know about by making a document that keeps track of that for you, right? So that everybody knows this is how we do it. We go into focus mode to start the service. This allows us to go to the arrow to the right, da 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 da. Or it might be that we have our sections, right? I love these sections now, right? I mean, you guys, if I don't know if you all have started using them or not, but in 1.4.9, when you right click on a section, you can change the color, and it makes it be its own bold breakout box to where it just is so much more organized. And I love that feature of it. And it wasn't there before, right? It just wasn't like that in previous versions, right? Big L says that the groups show up in stage view as well. That's a great question. So the groups show up in stage view if you want them to. So I'm gonna go to one of them songs I had a lot. I'm gonna go to this default one. All right. So this song has a bunch of different groups. All right. Here's all the list of the groups here. So it's got bridge 1, 2, chorus through 3, and verse through 3. All right. Let me turn on my stage view real quick. And I'm gonna go to my outputs, and that's training, live stream. I was like, I don't know if I kept any stage views. Okay, so I got my stage view. All right. And let's close that. And let's go here. And I'm gonna make this be an invisible window for now. So I'm gonna turn on NDI, and I'm just say invisible window, so it won't try to go to a particular screen. So now it's just showing the width and the height of it, right? And so that's important. All right, now if I go to stage, check out this particular stage view. This particular stage view has a progress bar at the bottom this shows you the place in the song that you're at. In this case, I'm not in a song yet. So if I go to my show and I go here, notice how it looks now. So it's got verse 1, verse 2, chorus 1, chorus verse 3, chorus 2, and it shows the progress of the whole show based on where and what group you're in. All right. So if I arrow to the right and keep going, you'll see now it's shifted to verse 2. Okay. And so, yes, you can do that. How did I do that? That's a good question. Let's go into stage. And this right here is just an input. I just added in there, but it's literally an item, and the item is called progress. All right. So let's take it out again. Well, I can just show you. It's here as a progress item. And the type of progress I chose to show was groups. Okay. So you can show it by number. So I can change this and it'll just show you slide 3 out of 37. You can show it by like a progressive bar. I call it like a meter, to where it just kind of builds up as you go through the slide. So if I go through, you'll see it kind of, oh, not that way. If I go through the show, you'll see that bar. I'm just going to the right to the next slide, and you're seeing that bar increase, right? So it's kind of growing as you go through each slide, which is helpful and cool. I like it for some things. I don't use it much for, I don't know if it serves a lot of purpose for ministry stuff, but maybe it could. I use it for like game shows or podcasts or something like that. If there's a lot of, or even for countdown timers, I like it for that too. That's a really cool way to, actually, it's not a progress bar, then it's just called a timer, and you can put it as a bar. So I like doing it for that. And then the last one is groups. All right. And the groups show you where you are in the group, right? And I can make this smaller if I want to, which is not really helpful for anybody. So I like to make everything, when it comes to progress, I like to make it as big as I can. In this case, it's that way. And so you can see it. There was another way that somebody did this. If you go to, let me see, you can add in a dynamic text called group, right? So if I go here and I can add in the dynamic text called group, and you can make that be a part of your show as well. So let me do that in another stage view so it won't be so busy. So let's say I go here. All right. And so I've got this sideways text here, and this was a label, but let's say I wanted this label to be dynamic text. So I could right click and go to dynamic values, which is the same option that I had earlier. This is just another way to look at it. And let's see here. That's video countdown, video, audio, metadata, title, artist, composer, timer. I believe it's another thing. Let's see. Tell me if I'm missing it. I'm looking for group, video, the show. Okay, maybe it's not a default thing, but it is a way you can do it in the stage view. So if I go back and let's go to items, if you go to text boxes, there is this slide group option. And so I can take that and I can put that over that little purple thing now. And I'm just going to rotate it. I'll try to rotate it. There we go. And I'm going to make it line up with that purple box that I've already got. And the reason why I have so much issue with this, you guys, to do this stuff is because my mouse is oversized. You all won't run into this. This is hilarious. It feels like I got gloves and I'm trying to pick up needles or something. All right, here we go. All right, so now, so I can't really find the tip of my mouse because it's so big. This is hilarious. But hopefully you guys get the idea. You all won't have that problem. But I keep my mouse oversized so that I can make training tutorials pretty easily and you guys can see exactly where the mouse is. All right. This is crazy. All right. We're going to keep it like this for now. We'll just act like it's good. And what I'll do is I'm going to just make it be, I'll get rid of that one. And I'll just make this one be it. All right. So this is the slide group. And I'll make it have a background. Make it be a background of orange. And so now you can see if I were to select that group, this is called sound team. I'm gonna right click and edit this and I will pick a new layout. Here we go, sound team. And so it would look something like that, to where you can adjust it to where now it just shows where you're at in the song. It won't show the progress. It's just showing the exact group or part of the song that you're in. All right, let's see here. While still in the stage view, what is the use of item number under the keep style? How does it work on FreeShow? All right, let's look back in our stage view settings here. So let's see. The question is, what is the use of item number? Let's see here. SBU Media Server says, while still in stage view, what is the use of the item number under the keep style? Where is that at? Item. Is it under here? I'm just trying to find where I can find that at. I can visualize what you're talking about, but I can't see it. Let's see it. Items. Under keep style. Where is it at? It's in the text box, he said. Okay. I'm in the text box. I see family text, font size, auto size. Item. I don't see it in here. This is camera team messages. Maybe it's not a real text box. Let me add a real text box. Okay, here we go. Yes, these were dynamic values that I default added. That's why I couldn't see them. I was like, what am I doing? All right. This box I can easily manipulate because it's so big. So it's easy. Okay. So I got a current slide text. Okay. This is, I just literally went to items and I selected next slide text, I think. All right. So text box here, it says slide offset. Let's talk about stage view. We're gonna go through that as a conversational piece, just to make sure we're all on the same page, because this is a big deal. So, and you will see this, I believe you'll see this on a text box too, but I'm in this is the next slide text. All right. Text box. It's a slide text box. And so let's talk about these features. So slide offset, this literally shows it's not going to offset by any slides. Okay. That means it's going to show the current slide. I can change this. I can hit the plus sign and it shows now the next slide. You'll see that name of it change and everything. I can hit it again and it'll go 2 slides up. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to 0. That's what that is. Include media. This has to do with if there's any media on the slide. And then keep style. I think that was the question. So keep style has to do with adjusting it to look like it does on the output screen. Okay. Instead of being as big as possible, like this, to where it just fills the box as much as it can, or as big as it can, you can keep the style. It'll literally look like a cutout of the output in terms of the text. Okay. That's what that is. And then the item number, this was kind of unique. So the item number has to do is if you had, like, some ministries have 2 different languages that they sing, and they have a text box, let's say English, and then they have another text box that's Japanese. Okay. So they have both of those text boxes on one real slide. Okay. On their real show. So if you go here, they would have, let's see, I'm gonna put this here and I'll put another one. I keep wanting to do option drag to, to do that. Let me right click and duplicate it. All right. All right. So I got 2 text boxes here. This one, I'm going to make it just say, I just want to speak the name of Jesus, and I'm going to delete this part out of it. Okay. Now this is the top text box, but it's probably going to be in there listed as number. No, it's in there as number 1. And then this is number 2. I think, I can't tell which one is highlighted. Okay. Yeah. So it's listed as number 2. That's what I thought. So it's dark. When it's darkened, it's highlighted on mine, and it's at the top. So don't worry about that, but it's the second text box. If I go back to my stage, look, let me make sure I'm on the right slide. Which slide? This is slide 1. All right, so I'm gonna go to the show and I'll go to slide 1. Let's go back to our stage. Now you can see here I got I got everything that's in the output. It's showing up there. If I select this and we go to turn off keep style, it does its best to show all that same stuff. Okay. And notice it rearranged it actually. And so I can say invert items and it'll flip them back upside down to where this is how it's arranged on the screen, where I want to speak the name of Jesus at the top. And I had to invert it because I input it last. So it went to the bottom on the item list. Okay. That's not the point of the item number though, but I inverted it just to make it look the same way. But I can change this item number and watch what happens. I can go to item number 1. And what it does is it just shows the item box that was number 1. I can hit it again and it'll just go and show the item box that was number 2, which is the one we just added, where we just made it in with Jesus. I just want to speak the name of Jesus. It just shows that one item number. And so as we go through our slideshow, if you had other text boxes that were like that, then you would be able to see that. But see, this is showing, if I go back here, it's showing item number 2. When I went to the next slide, it went completely blank because there's no second text box on any of the other slides because they all are in the same one text box. So that item number has to do with the items on the slide. Okay. How many items are on the slide? And do you want to just show a specific one? It gives you such granular control in FreeShow. It is awesome. All right. So it's unbelievable. So you go back to 0, it just shows everything. Okay. 0 means you're not being specific on which one you want to show. So it shows everything. But if there's a certain thing you want to show and you got multiple text boxes. So let's say, for example, you had like a bullet point slideshow and you had a title and you had bullets. You might say, for all these, I don't need to see the title every time. I just want to see the bullets, right? As a speaker, they just say, I want to see the bullets. I don't care about the title. The title's the same. It's the title of the message. No big deal. They might say, I just want to see the bullets, big as I can, right? That's where you would say, okay, I want to put the bullets, which are box number 2. I'll make sure that this is showing only item number 2 on each slide. Okay. No problem. You're very welcome, SBU Media. Brian says, color coding is a great feature. What about our brothers and sisters who are colorblind? Yeah, that's a very big deal. When you're talking about getting volunteers in, you got to be careful with that. You got to be very mindful to communicate and have them communicate with you as well. Obviously, that's something that needs to be understood, because if you've got your whole media setup based on color, you can run into some problems for somebody that's colorblind. I don't have a better way to put it. That's just something you got to communicate through out the gate, because there's a way to work around it, I'm sure. It's just you have to talk with them to figure out what works best for them. Okay. And you just need to make the adjustments. If they're a valuable part of the team or want to be a valuable part of the team, and you're willing and you have enough understanding of the program, it shouldn't be a problem to be able to work around that and figure out a way to make it a win-win for everybody. All right. Very good questions, you guys. Any thoughts or questions about song layouts? That's where we left off at. That's our intermediate topic. And I kind of talked about the sections. I love the sections. But you can create new song layouts, and it literally allows you to remove groups, okay, or add groups on a song. Maybe they do a longer version of a song. You can do that. All right. Let's see here. So that is a big deal. Now, the last point I wanted to make related to the advanced level topic is show actions. This is something that's going to come out in my video later on today or tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly when. I got a meeting. I got a hard stop today. What time is it? It is 12 o'clock. So I've got a meeting. Yeah. So I have to wrap up probably in about 30 minutes. That would be safe. Yeah. I'll be safe with that. And so all that to say, there are at least 5 ways to add actions to items in your show or to your show itself. All right. And I want you guys to be thinking, start listing out the ways that you know that you can adjust or impact your show with actions. What are some places or ways you can get to do that? I'm going to take a quick sip of water, but I want to hear from you all. If you're using actions, what are some ways that you use it, for one, in terms of your show? And then where can I do multiple ways to do that, right? What are some multiple places I can go to adjust my show with actions? Let's see here. Where can I go to adjust the show with actions? Any thoughts? And I'll start listing them out, and I want to hear from you. Let me know if this is something that you've done or that you do. Okay. So actions, we've heard about them. I've talked about them. There's a whole video about it. I think it's called Actions Are Your Best Friend. I think so. your best friend or something like that. But actions are really cool in FreeShow. What they allow you to do is to truncate a number of different clicks or steps or mouse moves and all this kind of stuff into one. Some of you all that may be familiar and highly computer savvy, you might have heard of something called macros or done something called macros. An action is basically like a macro, right? To where it'll you're not necessarily tracking your clicks or your mouse movements or anything like that, but you're literally telling it, hey, I want you to do this, then this, and then this, and then this. So you're basically creating a rule for this particular program to do something, and it can be a number of different things at a time. And the place you find your actions is in the functions tab or in the drawer, right? And then you go to actions. And then when you get there, you can hit this little arrow if you got multiple tags. I've got a bunch of different tags. I got my Free Show Friday actions here. And this one is a Free Show intro, Free Show outro, Free Show Friday title and date. Okay. And that's an action. So if I select that, let's see here, what will it do? I don't think it's going to do anything because I already got that on. So if I do clear overlays and hit that, it automatically brought that back up. Okay. The title and date. That's an action that I created. Now, that's the way you create. Well, that's where the actions live. If you want to create one, you would just go down here to new action and you can get a whole slew of different options. I'm going to say test action for now because you would title it whatever you want it to be doing. And then it's got these little options. I love where the option is now. So you got the options here where you can make this action be activated from a key press, or you can set a custom activation. Custom activations are really cool too, but I'm gonna take it one step at a time. Let's get to our start action itself. Let's see, what is it that we want this thing to do, right? What do we want this whole action to encompass? So let's go here, and you got a whole list of options. And these options are categorized based on different features of FreeShow. So we got show actions, which are like start show. You got clear actions, like clear audio overlays. Media actions that are like start an effect. If you made an effect like snow or fireworks, like that, boom, right? I made an action that just allows me to add fireworks to my show. All I did, I just pressed it on my tablet because I'm using Companion, BitFocus Companion, which is a whole nother video that is out there. That one I do have a playlist for, right? And you can make it be one that changes the output. So maybe you want it to show while you're playing this slide, it's a video. When the video comes up, you want the video to play in-house full screen, but you also want it to play online full screen. You need an action to change your output style. So your live stream output needs to change to the default output. You can make an action for that and tie it to that slide, right? So you can create the action, drag it onto the slide where the video is. And as soon as the video starts playing, it automatically jumps to that, okay? You can also make another action that says, hey, actually, you can make it change, but the way you trigger it is instead of dragging it to the slide, you can trigger it by this, set custom activation. And so it says when a video is starting, run this action. You would pick this action to change your style. And then when the video is ending, make it go back to the regular live stream output. You would make another action and select the live stream output that you normally use for lower thirds and switch when the video is ending, you would make that be the activation for it, right? And so these are actions in a nutshell, very brief. I'm not saying this is in depth, but feel free to ask any questions. Let me see here. Teo says, still do not use actions. Nothing is pre-planned for service. I would need actions to respond to changes quickly. I need actions to change the template of slides quickly. So Teo, what I would say is, even though nothing is pre-planned, that is a big deal because knowing that makes actions even more useful for you to me, right? Because you know things are going to be different and unique and they're going to kind of be on, I'm going to say on the fly for lack of better words, where changes are going to happen, right? But there's some changes that you constantly are making. And this is where my mind goes to say, okay, if I'm constantly doing the same thing, can I just tie it to an action? And I say that for me, for example, I do a lot of live streaming. Like I do Bible study online. I do, I'm trying to think. I do the Free Show Friday, but I also do a lot of recording and things like that with using Free Show. Obviously, I have meetings and I use Free Show for those meetings and things like that. And so for me, what I'll find myself doing is if it takes me multiple clicks, or if I have to slow down and read something or do something and do this or do that, my mind goes to, do I do that regularly, right? And if I have to do that thing regularly, then it deserves to be an action. Okay. And I say deserves in terms of that's where you can focus your attention. It's not about whether or not it's pre-planned, is whether or not if it simplifies your workflow. Okay. And so if you know you're constantly changing a template from one to the other, like you know the template is going to go to, then yeah, definitely. I would that definitely deserves an action. Okay. So if you say choose action, let me see if there's something in here for templates. We got output layout. So right here, these are common only temp or actions. If I hit this drop down or hit that little box, we got more stuff here. Let's see if anything here is. So here we go. Set template on an active show. You can do that for the show. You can literally set a certain template to be there. Let's see here. You can make a style, right? Let's see, a change output style. So you can make a style that has a template tied to it, like an override template. And then that would be the way that you can change your templates as well by doing this change output style. I've used that one a lot in terms of a lot of the free show planning, the church setups or whatnot that you see online on my channel. You'll see me use that change output style quite a bit because that's the easiest way to change a template. Okay. Same way for your stage. You can change your stage based on who's coming up on stage. If the worship team is about to start, you can make an action that when the first song comes up, it automatically changes the layout on the stage display to show whatever it is you want to show that you've already created. Okay. So you created it and then you just go to it. Because your templates, for example, if you're going and changing templates, you've already created the templates, is my guess. You're not making templates on the fly, at least not likely. So you've got templates there. You can make an action to switch between them real quick and easy. Okay. And you can make it be tied to I'm gonna press the letter G to switch to the green template. I'm gonna make the letter K to switch to the, I don't know what color starts with K, but maybe it's a special, khaki color template or something like that. Okay. Let's see here. I'm using one where it will clear when the countdown timer ends and then start the next show and change the stage screen. SBU Media, I hear you. That's a very, 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 I must say it's an intermediate to advanced level way that you're using the template because you're thinking it through and saying, okay, I need to make sure that it clears when the countdown timer is up. And I guess my question is, what does it clear? Let us know, SBU Media. What are you clearing out? Are you clearing the overlays? Are you clearing everything? Let me know what you're clearing. And then you saying, and it's set based on what you did is you went back here and you went to custom activation potentially, right? And this is when a timer is ending, I want this action to take place. I want these series of steps to take place, which is great. And it changes the stage screen and it goes to the next show. So when the timer ends, I want it to go to the next show. So the timer could be a countdown timer to introduce the service, the beginning of service. It could be a timer. It could be a worship timer or a offering announcement timer, right? You can do that for any kind of timer, right? And he's got it set to where it clears off and it goes to the next show. I love it. And I'm sorry, I say he, they. I don't know if you guys are guys or ladies, so forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. It just kind of rolls out sometimes that way. Let's see. If you have audio playing via FreeShow, is there a way to go to the next slide after the last word in a slide? Big L's asking a question. If you have audio playing through FreeShow, is there a way to go to the next slide after the last word? Is it the last word of the audio? Is that what you're saying? Let me know. Is there a way to go to the next slide after the last word? I'm curious what the audio is. Are you talking about like a song? For one, would be the question. Or are you talking about an audio clip that's playing just on that slide, and then once the audio clip is over, you want to go to the next slide? So I got two issues. Is it a long song that's every slide on there has a part of the lyrics, or is it just one clip of something that may be shorter than the whole song that you want? Once that clip is done, you want to go to the next slide. Let me know, Big L S305. I'm curious because your answer to that would dictate my answer. Okay, so it's the last word in the song. And so what I would do is on your slide, like the one that has the song. So wherever you put the song, you probably put it on the slide. You can drag it onto a slide. I would right click on that, right? And then you would go to slide actions. And then you would say next on media finish. And what that does, it'll literally go to the next slide once that song is done. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense. So you drag the song on. So I'm gonna go here to my audio. I don't think I can drag sound effects on yet. They may. I don't. Did he let us do that? Yep, we can drag sound effects on. Let's see here. So I'll put this. It's a song, but it's a sound effect. So I've got that there. Once this over, I want it to go to the next slide. So I will go to slide actions and then next. And you'll see the little arrow pop up there. It's going to automatically go there, right? Now, what that means for me is I'm going to go here and this is going to be playing. And I don't know how loud it'll be. I think I turned it down. I'm going to pull it down here too. All right. It's pretty loud. I'm going to turn my computer down. All right. So it's there. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go all the way to the end of the song. I'm going to just skip up. So we got 8, 9 seconds. What I'm looking at is I expect this to go to, because I know there is I want it to go to, yeah, I just want to speak the name of Jesus. That's what it did. The song ended and it went straight to that. Okay. So that would be the way that you would do that. Let me know if that makes sense for you, Big L. You drag the song or that track on, and then you just right click on the slide, go to slide actions, and you'll see an option that says next on media finish. Now, on media finish could apply to a video or audio, any type of media like that, right? That has a timeline to it. So audio and video both have a timeline. That's the best way to do it. Okay. So the 5 actions, we didn't get through all those yet. So we talked about how to make an action. We had some good conversation about that. And we found out, let's see here, was it SBU Media Server was talking about how they use actions. Very cool. And they use the clear all, go to the next show, and change the stage view. I love that. But in the show, there's a number of different ways you can add an action. And so I don't know how SBU Media Server added their action, but I'm going to go over a few different ways you can do it. So one thing you can do is you can literally add an action that happens on every song, no matter what. And you can do that by going over to your shows and go to your songs category and right click on the category, and you'll see an option that says category action. And this is this is helpful. For example, maybe you want to make sure you clear all your overlays, or maybe you want to make sure you clear all your audio, right? To where you're not playing any music, because maybe you have music playing for your countdown timer. And you want to make sure when you get to worship time and you start playing the first song, the music just stops. Okay, maybe you have music playing during the announcements, but when you get to your first worship song, you want the music to stop. You would make an action like we showed earlier, and then you would go to the category for songs, and then right click on it, go to category action, and then you would pick that one that says, stop this music, right? I think I got one in here that's called that, but I'm not going to put it on there because I don't want to throw all my stuff. But yeah, so you might have made one that's called stop music, and what it does is it just clears audio. You could do that. That way, whenever you're in worship, there's never going to be a time where music will play and interrupt through FreeShow, okay? Because every show clears the audio, okay? Let's see here. So Big L says like an auto action per each slide. Yes, so you can literally do it per slide, and you'll see that little arrow pop up there on it. And then you saw the other options. So slide actions, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can make it, you can set a timer for it. You can set it to where it'll restart and go to the beginning of the show. You can make it have a MIDI signal activation on it, to where it actually sends a MIDI signal. You also can do a start action. So when you get to this slide, you can make it do something. You can make something else happen. Kind of like what SBU Media was talking about. You can make it where it clears overlays. Okay. You can make it to where it will run a certain action, right? A number of different things happen when you get to this certain slide. It is I say it's robust, and I think I'm understating it because you literally have flexibility to do pretty much whatever you want to do in FreeShow, as long as you know it's available. That's where my role comes in terms of contributing to the community, is to help expose you all to whatever I can think of that would be helpful to be available in FreeShow that you may not have known about. All right. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff. So you can have it start a playlist, right? You can literally go to a slide and it'll start playing a playlist because you're on that slide. Okay. That's pretty cool. You can make it stop timers. You can make it start a timer. on that slide. And I use that sometimes when I do like game show stuff. That's a really cool way to do it. Okay. I'm gonna take this off just because I don't want that on there. And the take off actions, all you do is go and hover over it until it turns red, and you can just click it and it just deletes it. Okay. So category actions is one way you can add actions to your show. Very cool way to do it. There's another way. Down here, okay, this is where you can change your view, but there's this little arrow now. You can hit that arrow and you'll see this little flag. That little flag represents an action. You can click that flag and it says assign a custom action for this show to trigger when the button is clicked. Now, it does not automatically happen on the show. It is literally there for you to select when you're on that show. So let's say I wanted to make this one do fireworks. We'll do fireworks for now. All right. So I close this, I arrow that back down. Okay. Now my action called fireworks is there kind of front and center. It's a real quick and easy click for me to access. So I can click it from here and it automatically triggers my fireworks on my outputs. Okay. And it's an overlay. So wherever I have active overlays, which is in both of my outputs, it'll show up. Okay. Now I can go to another show, go to Oceans here. This one has one that's called Stop Music that I've added. I can go to Trust in God. There's no actions tied to it. But every time I go to I Speak Jesus, I'll be able to see that action there. And it may be something that's so, you can be so cool with it, right? So you might have an effect that changes the color of the lights in the room. I mean, you literally can make an action for that with MIDI signals and all that kind of stuff, or triggers, all kind of cool stuff. You can do that. And so every time you're in this song, I don't know, Oceans, the lights, they get to a certain part of the song, the chorus or the hook, whatever it is, they want to make sure to trigger the lights to turn blue and to, I don't know, wave or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. That's pretty extreme, but you guys get the drift. You can have it kind of tagged there to where you can automatically cue it up whenever you need to. It doesn't do anything until you click it, but it's assigned. It's easily accessible on that show. Very cool thing. So that's two ways. Okay. Another way that you can add an action to a show, you can, let's see here. If we go to the sections, you can go here and you can hit this little icon at the bottom right. So I selected a section and it's got shows in it. You can actually put an action in there as well. Okay. So you can put the action into a current section. All right. And so it says trigger action when navigating presentation to a section. All right. Trigger action when navigating presentation to a section for all sections or just the current section. You can do that. And it gives you the same list of all of your actions that you've already created. So you just pick one. Okay. That's three different ways I can think of. Another way is simply to drag the action onto a slide, right? We dragged that the song onto a slide. You can drag your actions onto a slide. So I can, let's see here. This is an action. I don't want to put that on there. Let's see. Stop music. I can take this stop music and I can put it right here. And it automatically puts that action up there. And it just clears the audio. Okay. And you can get rid of it by clicking on it when it's red and it'll go away. Excuse me. But that's a really cool way to use actions, is just to drag it on to some part of the show. In this case, if you're tying it to the show, you might put it at the very beginning on the very first slide. Okay. And just drag it anywhere where the blue line shows up and it'll drop it right onto that particular slide. All right. Let's see here. Brian Richards says, if you know the length of the song, set an action to go to the next slide at that timing. Yep. That's a really cool way to do it, is that if you put the song at the very first slide, you can make it progress by right clicking and then go to slide actions again and just do next slide timer. And you can make it be 5 seconds in, 6 seconds in, whatever it is. And you can make it automatically go to that next slide. And it'll almost be like like an automated lyric video, right? Or like a recording, right? So you can do the same idea by literally recording your macros, in a sense of recording your strokes of going from one slide to the next on your show by going over here and select recording. And you can start recording, and it says record and replay the timing of slides and sync it with an audio track on the first slide. So you put your audio track on the first slide and then you start recording, and then you click on that first slide, and then it'll You'll be able to go to the next slide wherever you want to based on the words of the song. It'll be recording all that, and it'll show you a list of each slide as you go through it with the time on the right side of it, so you can make minor adjustments as needed. There's a whole nother video about that too. I'm pretty sure I made a video about that. Great idea, Brian. Let's see here. What else did I think of? That is, I think that's 4 different ways. We talked about the category. We talked about over here. We talked about dragging it on. And then you can also, oh, we talked about the sections. I don't know how many. I think I'm at 4 or 5. You guys keep me honest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would say the last way to do an action, or another way. It's not the last way. There's plenty of ways to do it. Somebody on there might give me another, you guys might give me another idea. But another way to do it is to simply go down here and have a button that you press that's tied to that action. Like we talked about earlier, you can go to an action. I can right click on this one and edit it. And I can go to the options and I can activate it by a key press, and I can select a certain key. So it says, I can press that and it'll say, okay, select a key that you want. And I want it to be K. So every time I press K on my keyboard, while I'm in FreeShow, it'll automatically trigger this action. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want to do that. But that's another cool thing you can do, especially if you got volunteers. And we talked about that cheat sheet. I think someone mentioned it as like a folder or a binder. You can put those things in there, the shortcuts in there that you've already created to be a part of your process. All right. Last thing, figuring out FreeShow outputs. This is my final segment for the show today. When we talk about figuring out FreeShow, what I like to do is try to go to different things or things that people have had challenges with or run into. And one of the things I had this week, I had somebody call in for a consultation. They had just bought an Orion, what's it called? Split extend USB adapter. Okay. You should be able to find a link to it in the description, I believe, if you want one. But what it allows you to do, because their computer only had one monitor output on the back of it. Okay. Most laptops only have one for that, right? They had a desktop computer, so it might have been a little bit older, but you can increase that with buying this device, this little device. I got mine on my desk here. And how many people saw the video or remember that device? Let me see if I can show you guys what it looks like. I'm gonna go to my media and try to pull up my camera. All right. And so right there, that little device there, if I select this, let me clear all real quick. Let me just clear the background. All right. So this little device right here, it looks huge. Don't get me wrong. It's only that big, right? That's the HDMI. I got one HDMI in it right now. It can support up to 4 different HDMI inputs. So these are different monitors, and I've got it just one of them. It takes a USB-C for power right there, and then it actually plugs in with another USB to your computer. And I got that going to some type of USB dongle that I've got. All right. So that is the Orion split extend, and it allows you to have up to 4 more outputs. So if you're trying to get like a stage view or something like that, and your computer only supports 2 monitors and you got 2 in the booth, or maybe you got 1 in the booth and then you got the other one showing what's going to the outputs in the front, maybe, then this device will solve that problem to give you an additional, up to 4 different outputs. So you can plug one into this, plug this into your computer, and then plug one HDMI into that and run it to the back where your stage display is, your TV or projector, whatever you use, and it'll give you that additional output, and FreeShow will see it as long as your computer can see it, and it just takes some software. And so they needed that. So we helped set that up because the issue was they were seeing the same FreeShow edit screen on all their screens because they ran a splitter out of the back of their computer, and then they just split everything out from there. And that literally means the computer is going to send the same signal everywhere because it's all coming from the same source. Now, this is something that you may be running into or you have run into. You had to get you can buy a new card. If you got a Windows desktop computer, you can buy a new card for those kind of things. And you can install that if you wanted to, and it'll your computer will read it. This one runs off of external software, so you would just download the software that comes with it, and it's the software is free, but the device is about $100. So if it's in your budget and you need that additional output, you can buy more expensive devices to do the same thing. This is one of the most affordable ones I've found that's reliable. I bought that one with my own money and I love it. But it works. It works really well. So they needed that, and that was because they wanted to make sure they showed different. They wanted to show the free show output on their screen. Okay, they wanted to show that on their front TVs in the church. They had two TVs up in the front, and then they had the booth in the back in the middle, and they had another stage display in the back behind them up on the wall. And this device is going to allow them to be able to set that up. And they were able to call in. We were able to walk through all the steps to help them get set up. And they were just now getting started with FreeShow, believe it or not. And so when you talk about switching over, you may already have some of those things in place with your old software. And so you already have some hardware to support that. FreeShow should be compatible with reading that. As long as it's read by your computer, you just go to your output settings. And for example, my primary right now, I've got my output screen set to my third one coming off of that device. And that's just a little monitor I've got right here up under my camera. And then this is my main display that I'm sharing with you guys. And then this is my laptop down here. And notice it's not full, 16:9. It's actually narrower because it's a 16-inch MacBook Pro. So it's not as wide as traditional 16:9. So you'll see it kind of cut off there. These are they're succinct with the dimensions, right? And then this one actually is a little HD monitor that I'll actually use for my camera sometimes. All right. So that's that. What other questions do you all have for me? You all have had some great questions today already. I'm definitely open to answering any more before I let you all go. But it's been a fun Free Show Friday. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Let's see here. I think we addressed everything. You all had some great feedback, great thoughts. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to connect with you guys next time. I will be releasing a video all about shows. It's gonna be a deep dive into shows. I think it is literally about an hour long. So feel free to check it out if you still have more questions about songs. We dove deep into that. Today we had a good question about the stage view. I love that question. I believe I addressed it in my latest stage view simplified video. It came out a few months back as well. Definitely check that out if you have more questions with it. If not, let me know because I'll have to try to double check that too. I might need to update that because there's so many updates with FreeShow and a new one coming out with the 1.5. I'm not sure when the full one's going to come out. It'll probably be a few weeks out, but just keep that in mind. 1.4.9 is working pretty stable for me, working well. You all have a great rest of the day and a great weekend. And like I say, I'm going to say if I don't see you, which I don't see you now, but I can, hear from you now, but I won't be chatting back up with you guys probably until next Friday. So with that being said, have a great rest of the day, you all. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to go ahead and go to my outro. Enjoy it.